How many diapers will the average child use in the first year of their life? Can you guess? 2,700. Holy cannoli. That's a lot of diapers. Hello, hello. Welcome to the Architect's Kitchen. If you are as committed to disposable diapers as my mother is, I just don't know how you think you have time to wash diapers. You're a working mom of two. And elimination communication sounds like Taylor Swift's latest single or the latest parenting fad. You've come to the right place. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is, why we do it, and how it can save you thousands of dollars in diapers you won't have to buy. Hi, I'm Heather. I'm a full-time professional architect and mother of two. I have a 2-year-old son and a 3-month-old baby girl. This channel is where I share my passion for natural health and sustainable living, and I bring you along on our journey. As for me and my partner, we had never heard of elimination communication with our first. So this is something that we recently learned about prior to our second child being born. I'm going to tell you exactly what I learned and what we're doing now. Before we get too into it, I do want to introduce you to some data. These are some numbers that I learned from reading Andrea Olson's book, The Diaper-Free Baby, which is a book that you can check out at the link below. I'll put it in the comment section. This is a book that I recently read in the months leading up to our daughter being born, and then shortly thereafter in the wee hours of the morning during midnight feeds. In any case, I bet these numbers are going to surprise you as much as they surprised me. In 1957, 92% of US children were toilet independent by 18 months old. In the world at large, about 50% of children were toilet independent as early as 12 months. But then a funny thing happened. In 1961, disposable diapers were introduced to the US market by the name of Pampers. And in only about 40 years, in 2004, the average age for toilet independence in the US had almost doubled from 35 to 37 months. Wow, doubled. That's a lot of diapers. Do you know who that benefits? It's not you. It's the diaper company. We are currently potty training both of our children, and man, oh man, do I wish that we had known about elimination communication with our first. Okay, so what is elimination communication exactly? Put another way, it's basically old school, back to our roots infant potty training. What do you think people actually did for thousands of years before Pampers were invented? Throughout human history, humans have pottied their babies from birth on through toilet independence. And what does that mean? It doesn't necessarily mean they go sit on a white porcelain throne and then they flush, but it does mean that they or their parents would help them, or their caregivers, because it takes a village, and let's face it, other cultures were much better at the village than we are, but the caregiver would help the child get to a suitable potty location away from the hut or the bed or wherever, and the child would relieve themselves into the dirt or other appropriate receptacle. Nowadays, we have disposable diapers and cloth diapers, which we also use, but the idea is that we put the child in the diaper, set them over here, and forget about it. A few hours later, we come back, okay, we'll change you, you're probably wet. Or, the child cries and we change their diaper. It's a very different approach and a very different mindset than humans throughout history have had. The general idea is that the baby knows, hey, I'm hungry, hey, I'm cold, hey, I need to relieve myself, and hey, I need comfort, I need physical touch. Babies are very good at asking for what they want, and their caregivers are generally very good at understanding the baby's cues and taking care of that. It's interesting, really, that we would never dream of ignoring a baby's cry for food, or if they're tired, helping them get to sleep, or if they're cold, making sure that they're warm. But yet, we've completely lost our ability to respond to a baby's cues for relief, basically, to pee and poop. We've totally started to ignore that, and that's entirely a product of disposable diapers entering our lives. What does it mean to listen to a baby's cues? Every baby's going to be different, and some babies may cry, some babies may start to wriggle around, but you will learn your baby's cues and you'll learn to respond to them just like you respond to any of their other cues. So with our baby, she is just the chillest little cool cucumber all the time. But when she needs to pee, she starts to fidget. She starts to be like, and she starts to fuss, she starts to fidget. Her demeanor changes from one of, calm observation of the world to agitation. And when she gets agitated, I feel agitated. And I immediately know, like, oh, she needs to potty. So when I see that, when I hear that, I just take her over to the potty, strip her down, set her on the potty, and 9 times out of 10, she goes. And she instantly feels so happy. She gets this little smile on her face, and she looks at me and she's just like, yeah, mama, we did it. So it's really cool to be able to connect with your baby in this way who, isn't really able to talk to you about anything yet, but they are able to let you know and communicate in this way, hence the, communication part of elimination communication. They're able to communicate with you that they need help to get to a potty to relieve themselves because they're born with the natural instinct not to soil themselves. They're born with this desire not to go in their pants, not to go in their clothing, not to dirty their bedding or their caregivers, and they would like to go to a place to pee just like you or I would. So they're able to let us know. They're also born with sphincter control, which means that they are able to hold it a little bit while they are, transferred from where they are to where they need to be. And you can actually start this from birth. So that's what it is. That's what elimination communication is. It's some people like to call it infant potty training. It's essentially infant potty responsiveness, just like you would, feed or clothe your child. And the use of diapers has made it really easy to ignore those cues and to continue to go about our busy lives. And I do acknowledge that our lives are very busy, and there is certainly a reason. It is the 21st century after all, as my mother so succinctly put it. But we can choose to practice this in a way that does fit in with our busy lives while still having the benefits of early potty exposure and early toilet independence. By practicing EC with our baby, not only are we reducing the number of diapers that she's using day in and day out, we're also drastically reducing the number of diapers she will use in her lifetime of diaper use because she's familiarized with it, and when it comes time for her to practice toilet independence and potty train, as we conventionally like to call it, she will be completely familiar with the potty. Compared to our son, that's a huge difference. We are currently potty training both of our children, which I wouldn't necessarily recommend, but at this point, my son is over 2 years old and he's trying to unlearn all of the diaper training that we've been giving him for the past 2 years. From birth, we told him, hey son, we want you to override your natural instincts and pee and poop in your diaper. Forget what you feel like you want to do. I'm sorry that feels uncomfortable. Go in your diaper. And do it over and over and over again. And we'll change you and it's all good. Now he's 2 and we're toilet training, and he's having to unlearn all of that. We're telling him, hey son, we want you to poop in the potty. And he's like, what? What do you mean you want me to poop in the potty? I poop in my diaper. That's where I go. It's so bad that to the point that there have been times early in our potty training journey with him that we had him, stripped down, ready to sit on the toilet, and he actually started crying for me to put his diaper back on so that he could poop. Now that you know what elimination communication is, let's talk about why you would want to do it. What are the benefits? The most obvious one, I think, is that you're exposing your child to the potty, to the notion that they should relieve themselves away from their diapers and their clothing early on. That is going to translate to an earlier toilet independence for your child than if you train them to use diapers and then have to untrain them later in traditional potty training, which is essentially diaper untraining. That's the primary benefit, I think, even if you cannot capture every single pee or poop that happens. In Andrea's book, Go Diaper Free, I think the title is misleading because it insinuates that we are so good at catching our baby's pees and poops that we are not using diapers. We do, in fact, use diapers. We always use diapers. We use them as a backup between pees and poops that we catch on the potty. Ideally, we are trying to catch, I would say 50% a day. If we can catch 50% a day, we are doing awesome. That is an awesome day. We certainly do not catch every single one of them. And we do use a hybrid of cloth diapers and disposable diapers in between potties. But most of the time, if I'm home and I'm able to pay attention to my baby and try to listen for her cues, then as soon as she starts to cue me that she needs to go, I'll take the diaper off, I'll set her on the potty, she'll go, or not, most of the time she will, and I'll put her dry diaper back on her. On the day that I tried to film this last week, I put her in a fresh diaper at 7:30 in the morning, and I was able to use the same dry diaper over and over and over again throughout the day until my first miss at 3:30 p.m. So she was in the same dry diaper for 7 hours. And during that time, I caught 6 pees and 2 poops in the potty, not in the diaper. So we certainly do need diapers for the times that we miss, or that, we're busy with the other child, or we're busy cooking dinner, or we're busy working, or what have you. So there's certainly moments where it is really helpful to have a diaper on your child, and you just can't get to them fast enough. Because let's face it, the window of opportunity that you have with a young baby, we're talking 3 months or less, is quite small. We're talking seconds, maybe a minute between the time that they let you know, hey mom, I have to go, to the point that they are going. So you need to be really quick on your feet to hear them, respond to them, rush over, tell them, wait, we're going to the potty, and get them over there. Yes, we do use sign language with our children, and that also helps them to communicate with us much earlier than they would become verbal to tell us, hey mom, I need to poop. So we do use wait, this is wait, and then this is the universal symbol for toilet or potty. So we do tell them those things. In any case, we get them to the potty, we get her to the potty as quickly as possible, and then we are hopefully able to put the same diaper on her again. Another benefit of practicing elimination communication is you're going to use less diapers in the day-to-day. You're going to use less diapers per month that you're using diapers, because you just won't have to buy as many. You just won't have to use as many, and you can absolutely just do cloth diaper backups, and then you can have, 0 disposable diapers in your life. But as I can say, and I'll make another video on this, but as someone who used cloth diapers almost exclusively with our first for the first, 6 months, there were a lot of leaks and a lot of waking up in just a pool of pee with our son with the cloth diapers. So we do think that there is some benefit to using disposables. They certainly have their place, and I would not encourage you not to use them at all, because I do think they can be helpful. They are a tool. But from a waste perspective, you can absolutely choose to use exclusively cloth diapers. So is our baby diaper free? Absolutely not. Do we try to get her to the potty as often as we can? Yes. Also, might I add, the cleanup is way easier. When they are pooping in a potty versus in their diaper where it gets smushed everywhere, there's a lot less to clean up. So much less to clean up, in fact, that we use cloth wipes most of the time instead of disposable wipes, because there's just not a lot to clean up, and it's really easy to, give them a little pat down and throw it in the wash pail with the cloth diapers. So we're using a lot less stuff overall to take care of this. Another benefit I wanted to add is that you are way less likely to have a blowout if you're practicing elimination communication, because it's a numbers game, and if you're catching most of the poops and pees in the potty, it's less likely to happen in their clothes. And pretty much every time we miss one and our daughter poops in her diaper, it comes out the back. I don't know what it is about coming out the back or the sides or something, but it's an outfit change. So it is definitely helpful to catch most of them in the potty and not have to worry about the outfit change. The flip side of that is, and we're going to get into some challenges that we've had with elimination communication, is that you are much more likely to be peed and or pooped on because you're practicing this. And that's just because there's a lot of time where you are transporting your baby with no diaper on. And picking them up and burping them, no diaper on. And so the chances of actually having an accident on you and on the baby and potentially on the carpet are significantly higher because you're not just doing, dirty diaper off, clean diaper on. You're not just doing a clean swap with it. So there's definitely more of a chance of having a little bit of an accident. Another challenge has just been that it's a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie to you. It is a lot of work. My mother said this, ugh, that sounds like a lot of work. Yeah, it is. Because newborn babies and really up to like 2-month-old babies, no, my daughter just turned 3 months, and newborn babies up to like 3-month-old babies, they pee a lot. They poop a lot. Pretty much every time I feed her, which is about 8 times a day, she also poops. And then after I feed her, she will then pee every 10 to 15 minutes for the next hour. So we're talking like approximately 6 to 8 poops a day and about, what is that? About 30 plus pees a day. So that's either a lot of diapers, a lot of wet diapers, or a lot of trips to the potty. And so we are trying to catch as many as we possibly can. And so many days I will feed her, she will pee and poop in the potty. I will then, go on about my business getting ready in the morning. I'll just have her laying next to me. I don't even bother to fasten up her clothes or put her pants on because I know she's going to need to pee approximately 5 to 10 minutes later. So I'm waiting on that pee. As soon as she fusses, I stop what I'm doing. I put her on the potty, she goes, and then repeat pretty much until nap time later. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of stopping what you're doing, running to the baby, getting the baby to the potty. It's definitely not, a hands-off approach to parenting. So you kind of have to be up for it. You have to be committed. But I do believe that the long-term benefit of this, of having her be toilet independent earlier, is going to be worth it. So I'm willing to put in the extra work now so that I don't have to put in the extra work later. And as far as the, a lot of work goes, yeah, it is. But you know what else is a lot of work? Cleaning toddler poop out of pants over and over again, day in and day out. I would much rather take a baby to pee on the potty than to clean toddler poop out of underwear again. Another challenge that we've faced with pottying our baby is that it's really hard to do when you have an older sibling around, especially if the older sibling is not quite independent, which, in a lot of households that tends to be the case with the second child, because there might not be that big of an age gap between your children. And so when you are taking care of 2 highly dependent little ones at the same time who both have their own needs, it can be really challenging to have that like ready, set, go mindset and be able to respond as quickly as they need you to when you're taking care of both children. So I'm definitely more successful getting her to the potty on time when I don't have my son under my feet as well. I certainly can, but it is much more challenging. And then another aspect of it is just that once you've made this commitment with your baby that, hey, I'm gonna listen for your cues and I'm gonna do my best to get you to the potty on time so that you don't have to go into your diaper, and they believe that and they trust you to do that, you kind of have to follow through. You've made a commitment with your baby that you're gonna do your best, and so you want to be consistent with that so that they're getting the consistent same message over and over again while you're practicing this with them. And when you're out and about, it can be quite challenging to find a potty or to find a suitable receptacle to potty them. I am not gonna lie, I have definitely pottied my daughter in the exam room sink at the doctor's office. I also was feeding her in church today, and she let me know that she needed to pee, so I got up, we went downstairs, we went to the bathroom, and I pottied her over the toilet, and she went, and it was great. But you do kind of have to be willing to like stop what you're doing, get up and go, or to find an unconventional place. I definitely have, undiapered her at the park and squatted behind a tree. You have to be committed, and once you've made that arrangement with your child and they trust you to do it, you got to get creative. It hasn't been entirely easy. There's definitely been challenges. It's just really cool to be able to communicate with your baby in this way. We started Elimination Communication with our daughter when she was 5 weeks old. Literally the same day that we started potty training our son, we said, you know what? Let's just give it a try. Let's see if there's anything to this. At the time, my partner and I had 1 week left of family leave before each of us were going back to work after our daughter was born. And so we said, you know what? There's never going to be another time that's better to try this because we're both home. We're both home. We have time. We can focus on our children. Let's just give it a try. Generally speaking, I would not recommend attempting to potty train both of your children at the same time. We like to do things on hard mode, I think, around here, but it has been really amazing to watch how easy it has been with our daughter as compared to our son. The first time I put my daughter on the potty, I kind of felt silly, and I felt like, what am I doing? I'm putting an infant on a potty expecting her to do something. She went right away. She peed, she looked at me, she smiled. It was like, oh, that was easy. I had no idea. And we just kept going from there. Overall, I would highly recommend that you give it a try and see what happens. If you want to learn more about this, I will make another video about exactly what we do and how we do it and our entire process, all the tools that we use, and I'll link it down below. But in the meantime, you can go check out Andrea's book, Go Diaper Free. She has a whole website. There's tons of great resources there, and I learned so much from reading her book. That's what I read, that's what got me started, and really it had everything I needed to be able to do this successfully. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you learned something today and you feel inspired to try this in your own family. If you do and you are excited to save money on diapers you don't have to buy, please hit subscribe. I'd love to be able to, see you again and grow my channel and reach more people like you. I'll see you in the next one.